I am thrilled to announce we have a sponsor for the show, and it's a group that I've been relying on for so many years, the Pew Research Center. And the thing they do that I love the most as a guy who talks about religion and loves statistics is their religious landscape study, which Pew has been conducting for nearly 20 years. With responses from over 35,000 Americans across every state, the religious landscape study is a comprehensive look at faith, beliefs, and identity in our lives and our country. It's the largest single survey Pew conducts, aiming to provide authoritative information on the size and characteristics of U.S. religious groups, because guess what? The U.S. Census Bureau doesn't collect that stuff. On the Religious Landscape Studies interactive website, you can find survey data by metro area, state, region, or for the whole country. You can also explore the social and political views and demographic traits of U.S. religious groups. Pew Research Center conducts high-quality research to inform the public, journalists, and leaders about the issues, attitudes, and trends shaping our world. Studying trends in U.S. religion is a key part of the center's longstanding research agenda. To learn more about the religious landscape study and dive into the data, visit pewresearch.org/RLS. And with that, hello.
Hello, indeed. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. There are so many stories that I couldn't wait to tell you about because they will absolutely infuriate you. Okay. And you are going to a place.
Yes, I'm going to a place. We're very good at this. I'm going to Snoqualmie in Washington. We're going to have a meetup at the Snoqualmie Brewery. It's on February 22nd, if that is in fact that Saturday, at 7 p.m., just at the ground floor of the brewery. Very excited to see everybody. It's going to be very fun and a weird mix of y'all and like some Twin Peaks nerds. So excellent. I don't know what that's going to look like. Anyway, it's going to be a ton of fun. Can't wait. I cannot wait to leave the state of Illinois and not go to Indiana.
In the winter. There you
exactly.
go. Just to go somewhere warm like Washington State.
Like the Cascade Mountains.
Yeah. And with that, let's start with this story that honestly, it made me laugh when I saw it because I thought I must be reading it wrong. But basically, this week, 47 groups, a mix of Christian ministries, anti-abortion nuts, state-based conservative groups, they announced they were teaming together for a new campaign. It's called the Greater Than campaign.
Like the carrot thing?
Like a greater than math symbol from grade school. Basically suggesting that children deserve better than marriage equality. You're better than the gays. You're greater than equality. Who needs equality in this country? And basically the entire purpose of this dumb campaign is to say kids don't need gay parents.
Parents.
Nope.
And need is a strange word.
Overturn Obergefell. That's on their agenda.
Sure.
They also want... I'll tell you what else they want, but that's their main thing. We want to see the Supreme Court overturn Obergefell, which is the Supreme Court case that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide.
Sure, I remember that.
They want to be done with that. And their whole goal is to protect the children.
Sure.
This is coming at a time when the Trump administration is terrorizing children like that 5-year-old in Minneapolis.
Oh, no. What happened?
Oh, they just stole him and shipped him away and used him as bait to catch his brown dad. Good times.
Oh, boy. Turning off the news was a good idea for me this week because, boy, I'm broken now.
They're causing measles outbreaks by downplaying vaccines. They're blocking federal funding for child care, especially in blue states. And that's without even mentioning all the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
So all of that's happening. All of that involves children. All of that involves Republicans not protecting children. But these 47 groups are like, we know how to protect the kids.
7 groups.
If they have loving gay parents, we need to destroy their families.
I guess I have a lot of questions.
I haven't even explained what's going on yet.
Then great, you keep talking.
Right. So they launched with the video where they had a whole bunch of right-wing figures go on camera reading a prepared script. They spliced it together. And these are the people who really appeal to the young ones. People like Michael Knowles, a conservative commentator who, ironically, is famous in left-wing circles because Michael Knowles is one of those anti-gay commentators. He once appeared in a short film where he's in bed naked with another man. That's not because he's gay. He was just trying to become an actor. It's just funny. They also have Tony Perkins, the head of the Family Research Council.
Good Tony Perkins.
Who is, in my head, most famous for standing in front of a Confederate flag while delivering a speech to a white nationalist group.
Oh, and you think that's something that people should have
Kids love
noticed?
him. They also have Allie Beth Stuckey, who is a dinosaur denier. Just flat out, dinosaurs didn't exist.
Oh, I love this. I want to hear all about this.
She also hates empathy. She wrote a whole book about we're too nice. Stop it.
What?
And
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, we've talked about all of
have
this.
We?
We have.
I must
and this video,
really block it
among
out.
the other things in this script that they say is that same-sex parents are putting their fantasies and desires over the needs of their children.
Fantasies and desires, because definitely no straight people have ever put their fantasies and desires over the needs of their children.
Fair point, and we will get into the hypocrisy of it all.
Oh, I can't wait to see how many of these
The Greater
people
Than campaign, where they actually do use that math symbol from grade school. They say children's rights are greater than adults' desires.
Also, can we
Which, by the way, they forgot the apostrophe in adults, that tracks.
Yeah, no, that tracks. It also looks suspiciously like a fucked up version of the equality thing, the blue square with the yellow equal sign.
Yeah, they're trying to mock same-sex
a
people.
Greater than.
And this campaign is launched by a right-wing.
Good campaign. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's a horrible campaign.
It's a long walk to get to we are greater than gay. We're greater than gay people. What
I feel like the second you say we are waging a war on equality, you've kind of lost.
That's not a good look.
This whole campaign was launched by a right-wing activist named Katie Faust, which make your jokes about her last name there. But she has previously said children with gay parents are inherently victimized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is what she said in a statement launching this campaign. Since the redefinition of marriage a decade ago, we've seen the consequences. Parenthood treated as replaceable, and children deprived of the unique love and guidance only a mother and father can provide. 10 years of Obergefell have shown us loud and clear that children deserve better and that they are greater than, both with uppercase letters, they are greater than adult desires, and it's time we make a change.
So they're probably, because they're really invested in children growing up in two-parent households, they're probably also anti-mass incarceration for low-level drug offenses.
They are very much not.
Oh, that's so weird, because
shocking.
That's kind of the thing that's fucking up families, is that their dads are getting thrown in jail for dealing a dime bag.
Do they have a thing on their website where they say our churches will no longer permit divorces of any kind? No, nothing like that. Do they have a whole thing about how single parents are evil? They do not.
Okay,
They're sidestepping that one. What about, as you mentioned, straight parents who suck?
Yeah, and listen, we've all seen them. We've all been them.
Yeah. Nothing about that either.
No, of course not.
There are no studies on the website. She said, we have seen the consequences, where children suffer under same-sex parents. So I went to their website. I'm show me your citations and all that. No, there's no list of studies.
And they show a toddler with nail polish. Wow.
Right. No studies, no proof. There is a short Q&A section on their website.
Great.
Where one of the questions was, don't studies show that children with same-sex parents fare just as well as those raised by their mother and father?
You're not supposed to say that part if you're denying it in the next breath.
And the response to that is, in its entirety, studies of same-sex headed households, which are always missing a biological parent, maternal or paternal love, and in which the child has suffered parental loss, largely suffer from poor methodology.
This bitch has never said poor methodology in her entire goddamn life.
They fed it into ChatGPT and they're like, tell us what's wrong with all the studies that say the opposite of what we want. And if you ask them, well, what's the poor methodology? She'll be like, next question.
Okay. That was a really telling little paragraph she gave us, because that is also roundly denouncing like the Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like just because one of the parents isn't a biological parent,
Right.
then that means the kids are like,
Therefore, poor.
So blended families, absolutely not. That's going to kill somebody
You
someday.
would think that's where they're going with this. So blended families must be horrible, right? And no, they just sidestep the entire conversation about that. Because guess what? There are plenty of Christian families who are in second marriages, who are single parents. And again, that's not like,
that's
fine. Be a good parent. Yeah. I don't care what form that takes. They have no understanding of any world in which you don't have a biological mom and dad. There's another question on the list. Do you believe gay people are bad parents / don't love their kids? To which they say, what do you think their response is to that?
No, it's going to be, of course, we don't think that gay people are inherently bad parents. We just believe that children deserve the best chance at success. And to us, that is to a man and a woman who love each other and are married.
So close.
Yeah?
So close.
I'm getting good at this.
The one thing you said is, I'm implying, you were like, well, no, we didn't say that.
Right.
But here's what, they don't say no.
Okay.
They don't say, we didn't say that. They say, a woman who identifies as a lesbian can be a loving mother, but she cannot be a father. A gay man can be a loving father, but he cannot be a mother. Children need, deserve, and have a right to both.
Whenever we talk about this shit,
Which means they should love trans parents.
they should love trans parents. Every time we think about this, I think of close friends of mine. It's the parents of Dottie's best friend, Harley.
There you go.
And it is a lesbian couple, and they now have 4 children, all girls, which is like fucking good for
That's
you,
too many.
ladies. You did it. You're living the dream. But
They are very much not.
not to brag, but they're both like basketball coaches. So it's just so funny to me.
That's
to
an unfair advantage. They have a team.
Well, and they're tall, so they can just sort of like keep them apart from each other. But it's just like they are truly the most wholesome Midwestern.
Right.
They're both high school teachers. They have these 4 beautiful daughters.
Like the
And
secret gay couples don't want you to know is how boring their actual lives
It's true.
are.
It's just so funny to me of like when they're yelling about hypotheticals, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like
That's the thing. They clearly don't know any gay couples.
no, of course.
So what about
not.
straight parents who are on their 3rd marriage, like Trump?
Yeah.
Or who are in abusive marriages, like Trump, allegedly with his previous wife, or who just fight all the time. Like there's no acknowledgement anywhere on their website that there exist plenty of opposite sex couples who are not in great relationships and who are just horrible at parenting. In fact, you would be hard pressed to find the campaign's actual demands.
Oh, interesting.
Anywhere on their website. Like you have to search for them. They're not
They're
highlighted
just
front and center.
stomping their feet then?
Pretty much. And when they say it on their website, in most places, they're so vague. Here's what they say on the website. Like, what's an example of what you're hoping for? Changing public opinion so Americans understand the link between natural marriage and child protection.
Natural marriage is one of the wildest.
They just define natural as whatever we're cool with.
Yeah, of whatever the straight whites are doing.
Yeah.
That's the natural thing.
But here, the right-wing Daily Signal, it's a different website that I had not been familiar with, but they offered a better summary of what this campaign's actually after.
So I'm sorry, we have to get the goal of this campaign from outside of the campaign because they did such a bad job.
Yes. Here's what they say. The coalition lays out a 3-part strategy to overturn Obergefell and same-sex marriage. Number one, returning marriage policy to focus on the parent-child relationship. Already, I'm sorry.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Return marriage policy to focus on parent-child relationship?
I don't...
Like, sending it back to the states doesn't fix that.
To focus on... But, like, what? So, I mean,
That's
like,
just
is
number
this
one.
bitch going to come knocking on my door and say, like, because you couldn't have kids, we're going to split you guys up because that's not how families do? Like, I don't understand why they are so, like, the rigidity with which they view what a family is.
Only certain families are okay. That was number one. Number two, they want to change public opinion by emphasizing how same-sex marriage and other forms of family breakdown harm
Family
children.
breakdown.
Harm children. And the thing
good
is,
band name,
good
actually.
luck to you because not just because of Obergefell, but we have decades of experience. Forget studies. We have decades of experience around same-sex couples and kids who have same-sex parents. The studies, which have fine methodology, all basically say that, kids growing up to like same-sex parents who have the same advantages of opposite-sex parents do just fine, if not better in some studies, I'm sure.
Well,
but that's the thing. Like, the studies aren't helping it. And are you going to try to change public opinion on this?
Yeah.
How? Because we're in our 40s. The people in their 20s or younger now, they all have friends who have gay parents. All of us who are not living in a bubble, hopefully.
Truly can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Right. You know people.
Yeah.
So I don't care what study you have at this point that you think has proper methodology.
Yeah.
We already know, those kids are fine and normal. And what do you think is happening with them?
Well,
some parents are going to be bad parents regardless.
Well, and
of
the
marriage.
other thing is, no matter what studies they're using, the kind of sad and scary reality of it is that how many parents you have, what their genders are, your siblings, none of that really dictates how you're going to be as a human being as much as your fucking zip code.
Right. We'll get to that too in a second.
Like the things that make somebody a successful or not successful person is so far out of reach for so many people because you can be the greatest parent ever, but if you live in a shitty area with not good health care, if it's a food desert, if you're being fucking harassed by the police every day.
A couple of jobs to make ends meet, it's going to be tougher to do your job as a parent, whether or not you are straight or gay.
Yeah.
And the third thing on their list is mobilizing Christian churches to take a stand for protecting children.
See, even that is not it anymore.
Which is hilarious because the groups they have in this coalition include Southern Baptists, include... I think there's some conservative
these
Catholic
motherfuckers
groups.
can agree on anything.
They are literally in the news because they suck at protecting children and will fight laws intended to help victims of abuse. So, okay, I get it. You want churches to take a bigger stand on straight families.
Also, the first Pride Parade they had in Aurora, I went with my friends, and they're a couple, and one of them is religious, the other isn't. And as we're watching the parade, and it's just church after church of them being like, we tried that church, we tried that church, we tried that church. Like, churches are in on the gay thing now. Sorry to break the bubble for you.
Yeah, there are plenty of churches that will just, if they wanted to help families, all right.
Yeah.
But, all right. So, here's the thing. There is a possibility, very real possibility, the Supreme Court, if they get the right case in front of them, will absolutely overturn Obergefell. That's what Kim Davis was trying to do. The Supreme Court basically said, you're not the case that's going to do this.
And I remember talking about it when that came up of, did you get a sense of, because you understand this shit better than me, a lot of times the Supreme Court will be like, not this one, but bring us back something where you have standing or whatever.
Right.
Did you
Kim
get
Davis
a sense?
is not the ideal case for the protect straight marriage by listening to Kim Davis, who's currently on her fourth husband.
Marriage,
Not fourth marriage. Fourth husband.
Fourth marriage, third husband.
I think that's right.
Yeah, he's a math
She
teacher.
doubled up on one of them. Yeah. But Clarence Thomas has said we should do this. Alito is on his side, and if they get the right case, they could do it.
Still alive? What are they putting in the water in D.C.?
Hey, when billionaires fund your water, you're good. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't know how you emphasize the harm of same-sex marriage when the hypocrisy is obvious. Because, like we said, the Christian denominations that we are talking, the biggest ones in the Christian world are hotbeds of sexual abuse. Pastors are part of the problem. Priests are part of the problem. I don't know how you could say same-sex parents are harming their kids when we have so many examples every day of wonderful, not wonderful, when we have so many examples of straight parents who are doing horrible things to their kids, and there are so many examples of wonderful, loving same-sex parents who provide far more for their children than so many straight couples.
100%.
Right? There is nothing on the website also. I'm like, okay, you keep saying, yeah, fine, you could be a lesbian who loves your kid, but you can't provide what a father can provide. It's like, what do you think a father can provide that a woman cannot?
That is always the question.
There's nothing on their website that answers that question.
Like, is it teaching you how to shave your face?
I guess.
Because I shave my armpits, and that has to be basically as hard as shaving your face.
You don't need a father for that. You need YouTube. Like, you're good now. And the whole point is none of this is about kids. This is just...
No, of course it's not about kids.
It's about repackaged
we think gay
bigotry.
people are icky.
Yeah. By the way, on the campaign's website, like, it's vague and boring and doesn't say much. On Faust's personal website, she uses terms like child trafficking to describe children of gay parents. She uses the term acquired by predators.
Whoa!
So when they're talking about like
acquired by
Buttigieg's kids, they're like, this is child trafficking. It's like, you know how lucky you would have to be to have parents.
Pete Buttigieg's kid? Are you out of your fucking mind?
With the resources of Pete Buttigieg, it's like, I'm sure those kids are going to be just fine.
Oh my God, I bet Pete Buttigieg is such a good dad.
That has been like because he's so prominent, that's been a source of a lot of anger from a lot of right-wing people.
And he has twins?
He has twins, yeah. And she also claims on her personal website that marriage equality has made children less than, not greater than, like...
I understand what you're saying.
Which is horrible messaging for her side, because the second you pick on the kids...
Yeah.
I mean...
Like, okay, all right, I'm going to give you a lineup of children, and you pick me out the worst ones.
Right.
You tell me what their problem is.
It's so easily disputed. It's dumb. Like, I'm sure that rhetoric works fine in white evangelical circles.
Of course, because you don't have to think twice about anything.
They just accept the bigotry full force. But in the real world, where people know kids with gay parents, and we know the gay parents, it's like none of this makes any sense.
Wow.
Also, during an interview with American Family Radio, which is another right-wing thing, she argued that same-sex marriage was a, quote, destructive, state-sanctioned gaslighting experiment on children.
Wow, that's all of the buzzwords.
All of the buzzwords. And then she added, her campaign's message is simple. Don't touch the kids. Which...
What the fuck are you saying
because
to me?
These are all the people that want to cover up the Epstein stuff.
And
I think
also,
she's saying,
like, what are you saying that
gay parents don't have kids? Like, you're ruining children. We're here to protect the kids.
But what if they give birth to the kid? Do they get it taken away?
Well, that would be through like IVF or surrogacy or something
and that's
else.
also bad.
That doesn't count. Right.
I don't.
Like, it's not even clear in context if she is suggesting that children of gay parents are abused, or if she's saying children just shouldn't be collateral damage in a same-sex relationship. I don't even know what she's going for.
Do you know what I think,
It's just bad messages.
I think these people have too much fucking time on their hands. I think these people have so much time and resources that they've completely lost the plot on how to be a human being. And can I recommend doing some volunteer work or some like continuing education courses to occupy your tiny, dumb walnut brain?
That too. The thing is, even if their whole goal is overturning Obergefell has nothing to do with kids. Obergefell, even if you got it overturned...
Yeah, then what?
That would ruin the lives for some gay people whether or not they want to have children. You're basically saying we are here to protect the kids, so let's make it harder for two adults to get married. Like, those two things are not the same issue.
And also, they forget that, like, people can be married without having children.
Yeah, ask people in your church. It's possible. It happens.
It just,
they don't want to, or they can't, or whatever.
It's frustrating to feel, like, listen, this is me, like, feeling sorry for myself, but it's really frustrating when, like, the conversation around marriage is only about like procreation and having children, things like that. Because what it does is it adds to that pressure of you're not an adult unless you have kids. And which, like, ask any of your like childless friends. We all feel that pressure all the fucking time. And like, this is not helping. Like, the goal of Jesus was to make people feel more welcome and loved, not to tell you that your life is invalid because you're barren inside, like some people, you know, me. Like, I just, how they're just trying to ruin everything. They want everything that is not too like a man and a woman and they're white and they're third generation American.
I did appreciate that part on their website where they said you have to turn white.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was somewhere on there. I'll have to look for it.
It's harder than you think.
Like, that's the thing. Their whole campaign is we want to protect the children, but really all of their goals are we just want to make life harder for gay people.
I mean, listen, the veil has been dropped. ICE has kind of shown us what these people's goals are. And it's not to keep people safe, and it's not to promote Jesus, and it's not to do this. It is to make life worse and more torturous for people that they deem not suitable for humanity or whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that they're comfortable apparently having a 5-year-old kidnapped or whatever, which, I mean, you think if you care a lot about kids, kidnapping a child by a secret police is pretty scary.
Nope, doesn't count. He was brown.
Okay. But
and while you turn off the sound in the background,
oh, God damn it.
This campaign announcement, I said that a right-wing website explained what the goals of this campaign were. Guess what the Daily Signal is? Because not the Daily Caller, which is the famous right-wing website. It's the Daily Signal. The Daily Signal is run by the Heritage Foundation, which is the Project 2025 group. So that's not surprising at all, because they said in Project 2025, one of their goals was overturning Obergefell. And the thing is, you mentioned this. How do you get the genie back in the bottle? You can't.
Yeah.
America. Here's what the stats say about support for marriage equality. This is from Gallup. Among all U.S. adults, same-sex marriage support is at 68%.
Oh, so close.
Overall. And among Republicans, it's 41. But you're saying 41% of Republicans support same-sex marriage. That means almost half of Republicans are like, we're fine with it.
So who is this for?
Who is this for? Pew Research Center puts that same number at 67%. So again, they found that 55% of Christians overall support marriage equality, including a majority of historically black denominations,
really?
A majority of mainline Protestants, and amazingly, 70% of Catholics, despite what the Vatican says.
Wait, then who are the people who don't like it?
White evangelicals.
Oh, I forget about them sometimes.
They exist. So, if you want to get some of the most hateful bigots in the country to make a campaign ad calling for an end of same-sex marriage, that's not a PR coup. That's what these people do anyway.
I think also where they're going to find a lot of trouble is I think raging at hypothetical gay families is only going to take you so far.
Yeah.
And I don't think they are going to be able to maintain the resources or enthusiasm for anything like this, because if they get their way, then what?
Yeah.
If I'm pushing for this, I'm not going to get any financial rewards. I'm not going to get a tax break. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? It just doesn't.
You would think they would support free pre-K education. There's nothing like that on their website.
Yeah.
So all the resources that make it easier for people who want kids, can have kids, to have kids, they're not pushing for any of that. Republicans oppose all of that.
Well, and that's always the thing
of criticism for pro-life side, right?
Well, and that's always the thing of people talking about the population is in decline and yada, yada, yada. And it's just that maybe it's just because I'm a millennial, and ever since I graduated college in 2008, nothing interesting happened there in the economy. Ever since I've been an adult, it's been oh, you guys are spending too much money in the wrong places. You guys aren't buying houses. You guys aren't going out to eat. Oh, you're eating out too much. Oh, you're not saving money. Yada, yada, yada. It's just constant people criticizing every minutia of the choices that we've made as a generation, instead of being wow, it really sucks that you graduated during an economic crisis that lasted for 5 years.
And you want me to get mad at gay people?
Yeah, and then you're gonna you're worried that population is in decline without even pausing to consider why people might not want to have kids. The same thing with men being oh, there's no good women left. It's yeah, because we fucking wised up and realized we don't need you and you need us.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yay.
They also, I will say, the one good thing about this whole campaign is I'm glad they're doing it in an election year. Honestly, if you want to make it easier to go after Republicans for being anti-gay, Go
they have
for
a
it.
logo for you
Love
now.
It. Love it. Almost a Democratic strategist would have to have created this campaign in an election year, because I don't think Republicans want to be, with all the stuff they're trying to defend, which are indefensible, but I think the last thing Republicans want is, hey, do you support trying to overturn same-sex marriage?
Wow.
So just closing the door on this campaign.
Okay.
There's a donation link on their website, which
Great.
of course there is. I don't know what the money is going to.
It's patreon.com/friendlyatheist podcast.
Where are they using the money? If the only thing
to
I
make
could
that to a
figure
website.
out, probably. But there is a place you could type in your email address, which will be spammed among the 47 different coalition groups.
Do you sign up for those just to keep abreast?
For that reason.
There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm on all the Trump mailing list things just so I can see what's going on. And it's like,
it's too many.
I don't like checking my email on the best of days.
Right. Anyway, I don't think the project's going to work for all the reasons we just mentioned, but I want to bring it to your attention. This is what they are doing.
Like you said, they super don't have a plan to get from here to overturn Obergefell. Like, at no point are they like, we're seeking out defendants.
Right. And if it is overturned, it won't be because of this campaign. It'll be because some right-wing group figured out, all right, Kim Davis sucks, but here's someone we can get on board with. And the only solution to their problem is overturning Obergefell. It would backfire if it happened. There are more abortions today than there were before Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Oh, is that true?
That is true, because they're medical abortions now, which is funny because the March for Life in D.C. that happens every year, that happened, and it's like, so you guys should be thrilled now, right? Because you got what you wanted. Abortions are harder for people to get. And they're like, no, we're super mad because, of course, they only have one emotion. And their whole thing is, well, there are medical abortions now. People are taking pills. So we got to make sure they're not allowed any health care whatsoever. They're going after that now. Anyway,
wait, could you hold on? I want to. Yes. I don't think I understood a thing you said. There's more abortions because they are medical abortions.
Because it's easier to obtain because you could get the pill via mail.
Oh, I see.
And so now they're like, we got to stop mail.
Well, I mean, they've tried.
They have tried.
Wow, interesting.
Let's go to a totally different story. This one involves Texas. A couple stories involving Texas. So Texas has a Senate election later this year. Historically, it's one of those things where Democrats always get excited. Maybe this is the year like Texas becomes not a non-voting state, but a state where Democrats actually get off their ass and vote.
That's basically the plot of Red, White, and Royal Blue, one of the great romance novels of our time.
There you go. So they have the Senate race. I'm genuinely hoping Ken Paxton is the Republican nominee because he's so scandal prone that even Republicans are like, this is not a good idea.
Okay, but
John Cornyn is the incumbent who is probably going to win the primary, but it's not an easy task right now. So that's part one.
Okay, but maybe I'm still a little shell-shocked from 2016, but I feel like maybe getting the worst person in the world on the ticket in hopes of making the Democrats seem more palatable might backfire.
Maybe. So.
And then we get whatever the fuck this guy's name is, and President Trump.
Right. I mean, if you get Ken Paxton and President Trump, that would be bad, but it's not worse than John Cornyn. John Cornyn just isn't in your face every day.
Okay.
But neither of them are good. Ken Paxton, easier to beat, according to every poll.
That's the problem. That is the problem. He's easier to beat, but if you don't beat him,
then nothing changes. He's also bad.
Yeah, but I guess.
Among Democrats, the primary is between James Talarico, who is a state legislator, who we'll talk about in a second, and Jasmine Crockett, who is very outspoken anti-Trump. She's the one who made fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene, the bleach blonde.
No, what's this?
Oh, I can't remember. She said it better than I would. But she's just outspoken, like very, I'm not putting up with your shit.
Sure, I love this.
She's great and super progressive. Now, here's the two differences between here's the difference between the Democrats.
Great.
Her theory for why she would be a better candidate is she can energize progressives to get off their ass.
Yeah.
Which I will say, I like the strategy because I think it can work.
Yeah.
James Talarico's strategy is, I don't want to write off anybody. I may not be exciting like on the campaign trail compared to her, but I can reach across the aisle a lot more. And I think Republicans and I think Democrats will vote for me because I think I can be that sort of candidate like Beto O'Rourke. But also, I am not so progressive in the sense that Republicans are going to be scared off.
Sure.
And there is polling that suggests he's right about that. So, honestly, like Talarico seems like a better candidate on paper, but it's a dead heat according to the polls for the Democratic primary.
Interesting.
That race is at the beginning of March, so they only have a month left.
Wow. And where are we in
primaries.
Texas?
It's a statewide election. It's all of Texas.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing about Talarico. He's 36. He's a state house member, super progressive Christian. He's a seminary student,
really?
I think, or at least he was. Maybe he graduated now. And March 3rd is their primary. And if you're a Republican, you don't want this guy to win. you think he is a formidable candidate. You're very much like, get the black lady. We can.
Oh, she's black. These are details we need.
He's super, super white.
Yeah, well.
And she's black. And I think
Talarico sounds
Republicans
Italian,
are like an outspoken black woman. Yeah, we've done that one before. We can take that. So they don't want him to win because they're like, oh shit, he actually can win over Christians. Because guess why? Because he always talks about religion everywhere he goes. Because he's one of those guys who's like, of course I should be abolished. Jesus didn't want that.
Yeah.
And that's why that's his superpower. Now, here's the thing.
I do love the battle of Jesus would have wanted.
So Talarico, who, by the way, because I know I'll get these emails, we have invited him to do an interview with us. He has not responded, and he's busy now. He's more popular than he was a year ago.
Well, you reached out to him. Maybe if I reach out and give him some of that blinky charm.
But I'll keep trying. But he recently appeared on one of the many... He's pulling the Donald Trump strategy of, I'll go on whatever big podcast, anyone, anywhere. He was on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was like, holy shit, you would be really good. You would be a really good candidate. Like, he got a rave from Joe Rogan.
What is going on with Joe Rogan? What do we think about him now?
He's still awful. Okay. But I'm just saying, Talarico's like, yeah, I'll sit with you for 3 to 4 hours. I'll talk to Joe Rogan. I'll talk to anybody. And Joe Rogan came away impressed, which only it means, like, wow, he convinced a bunch of right-wing crazy people that this guy's not crazy progressive.
Well, he convinced one right-wing crazy person who has the ear of a lot of the other ones.
So Talarico appeared on one of the not popular podcasts.
Friendly Atheist?
Yeah. Unlike Joe Rogan, he appeared on a podcast hosted by James Carville and Al Hunt, who are two very old school Democratic strategists. You're going to play a clip right now where basically he just said, we need to live up to Jesus's actual message and not the message Republicans want to pretend Jesus was spreading. It's about a 2-minute clip, but let's play that and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, everybody cross your fingers.
So, like I said, I'm not living up to the radical teachings of Jesus Christ, but I do think that 2,000 years later, he is still pushing us to be better neighbors, to look out for the poor, the marginalized, the oppressed, the... So, like I said, I'm not living up to the radical teachings of Jesus Christ. But I do think that 2,000 years later, he is still pushing us to be better neighbors, to look out for the poor, the marginalized, the oppressed, the vulnerable, to stand up to powerful people. You know, we oftentimes think of Jesus as this really nice, polite, gentle person, which he was, of course. But when people were hurting his neighbors, he walked into the seat of power and he flipped over the tables of injustice. That was a powerful example of nonviolent direct action, protest. And it's what got him killed. The Roman Empire didn't kill Jesus for being a nice guy. He was a threat to their wealth and their power. And so, again, that should unsettle us in the wealthiest country in the world.
Listen to this.
We should be asking ourselves, what does it mean to truly follow these teachings? Are we really looking out for the least of these? And I think when you look at our current government, you look at our current society, the answer is a resounding no. So instead of putting the 10 Commandments in every classroom, instead of forcing school children to read the Bible against their wills, why don't we, all of us, look inward and figure out how we can be more Christ-like, even when it's uncomfortable?
And that applies to Muslims and Hindus. And
listen, I have...
This is, they can learn a lot from Jesus.
I have met so many Hindus, Buddhists, Sikh, Jews, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, who are more Christ-like than some of the Christians I serve with in the Texas legislature. It is about how you treat other people. Matthew 25 tells us exactly how we're going to be judged and how we're going to be saved. By feeding the hungry, by healing the sick, by welcoming the stranger, which is more timely now than it's ever been before. There's nothing in Matthew 25 about reading your Bible. There's nothing about going to church. There's nothing about being a good Christian. It is all about how you treat other people. And so I've met a lot of people from different faith traditions, people who aren't religious at all, who embody that teaching better than some of the really loud Christians that we have in public office.
So one thing like I want to call your attention to in that entire exchange was he mentioned, I've met a lot of people who are not Christians, atheists, agnostics, whatever, who are more Christ-like than some of the Christians I serve with in the Texas legislature.
That's me, baby.
There you go. And it's all about how you treat other people. That's a beautiful message. that is obviously true. We've seen what Texas Republicans do with their power.
I've had Christian people tell me that I'm closer to God than anybody else they know. I love it for me. Good for me.
Yeah, it's a very much a backhanded compliment.
100%. But I will take any compliment, no matter how many backs of the hands I have to hit.
And he pointed out when Republicans, but if you forgot this, Talarico, when Republicans in the Texas legislature were debating a bill to force public schools to put up posters of the 10 Commandments, he's the guy who was like during the committee hearings ahead of time when he gets the mic, he's like, so the thing about not working on the Sabbath, has this legislature ever worked on the Sabbath?
Oh, that was him.
That was him. He's like, thou shalt not kill. Do we have the death penalty in Texas? Like, that's what this guy does.
First of all, I really want to point out that video clip gave very strong vibes of a gay couple letting a Mormon into their house. And because he's just
two dudes on a couch with Talarico in the middle.
He's just like sitting on the couch in a little suit. And the other two boys are like in their sweats on the other side. And he's just sort of like talking straight forward into the room. It's so cute. I can't stand it.
So my favorite thing about that clip is if you're a Republican and if you're the Oppo researcher, how do you make that look bad?
What do you say?
Here's the headline in Fox News in response to that clip. And you should be aware that Talarico has also said in another interview that I don't know what the question was. Sure. Like, is God male or female or something? He's like, I think God is beyond gender. I think God is non-binary in that sense.
Oh, I love that for him.
Whatever. So here's the headline from Fox News.
Yeah.
Texas Dem, who said God is non-binary, now says atheists are more Christ-like than Christian colleagues.
They fucking nailed it. They fucking nailed it. And you tell me which words of those were a lie.
Yeah. He didn't, for what it's worth, he didn't say atheists are more Christ-like than his Christian colleagues. He said he's met many non-Christians who are more Christ-like than some of the Christians he works with in the legislature. That's nuance, which Fox doesn't have. Like, he's not throwing Christianity under the bus. He's not ranking the various groups. Like you said,
we should rank the various groups.
We could. Bonus episode. There's also this quotation from a spokesperson for the Republican National Committee, whose job is making this all sound very bad. This is from Zach Kraft, who's the RNC spokesman. James Talarico has once again broken out his anti-Christian shtick.
Wait. He said Christian twice?
He did. His anti-Christian shtick.
Got you.
There isn't a woke cause that he won't claim to find buried in the Bible. Twisting Christian principles to promote woke talking points might play well with coastal elites in New York and California, but he's going to learn real quick that won't fly in Texas.
Okay, so he said woke.
He said woke.
He said may fly in where? In the coastal elites.
Yeah, coastal
oh my God,
elites.
he's going to fill out my bingo card.
Just to be clear, what were the woke talking points Talarico was talking about? Christians should
look out
feed
for
the
least
hungry.
of us.
Heal the sick. Welcome the stranger. These people Fox is literally attacking Jesus for focusing on woke. These people hate the Sermon on the Mount.
What tenets of Christianity do they follow?
Break up the gay couples.
I guess.
That's commandment,
and
I assume 11.
Kind of general patriarchy, sort of end of list.
Yes.
Cool.
They should love 2 gay parents then. That's like double the patriarchy.
Oh my God, 2 boys in a household? Yeah, it's going to be the most
Especially if they're raising a little girl.
Oh my God.
Double the umbrellas.
And that kid will be so safe because my understanding is most men think that their primary job is to like physically defend their house and family against people, which like if that was my entire job, I would be a happy gal because nobody's breaking into my terrible townhouse.
When the RNC opposition research account on X/Twitter posted that clip online, because again, they want to make him look real bad.
So bad.
The responses...
Did they post the whole clip?
They posted a chunk of it, but the responses were just so unhinged. One Republican staffer, she's like, what on earth? What a slap in the face to Christians everywhere.
What on earth?
Another one said, they love putting Christians down. They called Talarico a counterfeit Christian. They said he's trying to bash Christians, placing all other religions and even atheists above them because none of them have reading or listening comprehension.
Maybe he's a Crino, a Christian in name only.
Yeah.
Is that a good one?
There you go. The Fox piece ends with this line Fox News Digital reached out to Talarico's campaign for additional comment Friday. What additional comment do you need?
Oh, that was the end?
That was the end of their article where they're like, we reached out to his campaign. For what? To say what?
To be like, hey, remember when you said this?
Remember when we misquoted you? Do you disagree with our characterization about everything you just said? And all he has to respond with is, watch the damn video. I don't know.
Wow. I mean, the defensiveness shows up so hard.
This is why I genuinely hope he wins the primary, because they don't know what to do with him. They don't know what to do with the threat of a not weird white Christian who can comfortably speak about religion without using it as a weapon against brown people. Republicans don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to fight that. They can't resort to Islamophobia or racism, which are their go-tos.
Right.
They can't pretend
he's straight, probably.
He's straight. They can't pretend he's not Christian, even though they will try.
They did.
They're trying. They can't understand how you can quote scripture to defend the oppressed instead of using it against them. They can't pretend he's not decent, because every time he talks, he's like that NBC page from 30 Rock.
Yeah, he does have
Like,
real strong Kenneth energy.
What are you want me to think he's the bad guy? Okay. And that's why I think he's a dangerous candidate to them.
This sweet boy sitting between his two grandpas talking to them about the Bible. Oh, bless him.
So anyway, I am liking him more and more. And I liked him before, but I was like, oh, I think Jasmine Crockett can really energize the base like Zoran Mamdani did. And the truth is, I'm like, I could see how that backfires in Texas.
It's not
because it's so easy for Republicans to trot out their old playbook against her. Even though I think she's a good candidate.
Well, it's not often we have an embarrassment of riches of candidates in Texas. So this is an interesting problem to have.
Statewide candidates. So we'll see. March 3rd is their primary for that race.
So wait, so their state Senate, is it just
not state Senate, U.S. Senate.
Senate.
This is running to beat John Cornyn, who is the incumbent who's not Ted Cruz. And that's the thing.
Wow.
John Cornyn is also awful, but he's not in your face stupid about it like Ted Cruz is.
I got you.
And running against John Cornyn is Ken Paxton, who's like, you're not MAGA enough. And it's like,
too many people are still alive,
Paxton,
and I hate that.
You are the worst possible candidate for a statewide thing, because Democrats will bring out everything to beat you in a statewide race, because even Republicans, you may recall, Republicans in the Texas legislature tried to impeach Ken Paxton, but they just couldn't get all the votes they needed.
And so now he's running for Senate.
Republicans don't love this guy. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run even harder. Let me go for U.S. Senate. And the thing is, the craziest Republicans might be able to outnumber the less crazy Republicans. So I hope Ken Paxton wins. And I really hope Talarico is his opponent, because I think that's a race that's as good of a chance as Democrats have there.
Wow, that is some wild shit.
All right.
I'm so impressed. Like, I know the phrase is like, God grant me the confidence of a mediocre white man. But the idea of being like basically censured by your colleagues and then asking for a promotion, the fucking audacity of white men will never.
Remember, Ken Paxton's wife divorced him on, quote, biblical grounds.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And those records, as far as I know, are still sealed.
Like, I went to...
Wait till we hear the details.
I went to the sushi place that has, like, you have to mark the thing that you want, and I marked the wrong thing, and I was like, oh, this is the wrong thing. And she's like, no, you marked it. And I almost never went back to that sushi place because I was so embarrassed by that. And this man had a bunch of people stand and look at him and be like, you're bad and I hate you. And he's like, good news, guys. We're going national.
Yeah. That's Ken Paxton.
What is life without anxiety like? Oh, can you imagine it? Oh my God. Do you not just constantly think about how all the animals you know are going to die? Is that what your life is like? Is that why you have room in your head for all this hatred? Because you're not worried that your dog is going to die?
That is correct.
These people.
All right, let's go to a different story. This is New Hampshire. This is a story I have not seen anywhere else.
New Hampshire.
But fascinating story.
Great.
A handful of New Hampshire Republicans just proposed a constitutional amendment to elevate Christianity above other religions. A constitutional amendment.
Doesn't New Hampshire famously have fucking terrible roads because they don't have taxes or whatever? Like, what
Live
are
free
you
or
guys
die.
doing?
That's a threat.
Die in a pothole.
Yeah.
Die in this sinkhole that's going to swallow you and 6 cars up.
There you go. So here's the thing. Part 1, Article 6 of the New Hampshire Constitution.
Yep.
It's called the Morality and Piety section. But this is what it says today.
I've
Okay.
heard people say piety and outside like a period piece.
Yeah,
ever.
there you go. It's an old school reference. It's in their original constitution, but they've amended it since. Here's what it says now. And I'm going to paraphrase because it's a long paragraph. They say, among other things, that parishes, bodies, corporate, or religious societies shall at all times have the right of electing their own teachers and of contracting with them for their support or maintenance or both. Basically, churches get to choose their own pastors. Yeah.
Is that something we need an amendment for?
We'll see why that's the case in a second, but all right. No one was arguing.
Imagined conflict.
Don't
these
worry,
people
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Keep going.
So they're like, yeah, churches get to choose their own leaders. That's in a constitution. All right. They also say, no person shall ever be compelled to pay towards the support of the schools of any sect or denomination. Right. No public money to religious schools.
I think this was all covered in the First Amendment.
Say, every person, denomination, or sect shall be equally protected should be equally under the protection of the law, and no subordination of any one sect, denomination, or persuasion to another shall ever be established.
Okay.
Right. Equal protection under the law, religious freedom,
Again,
all that sounds
all
fine.
The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution?
Right. Here's the thing. So that's a relatively new amendment. Like, this is what the thing says. But the reason they're saying this is because that just kind of echoes what the First Amendment says and how it's been interpreted anyway.
Okay.
So nothing I just said is surprising.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's in the Constitution. There's a lot of shit in the Constitution we don't need to worry about.
Right.
Including state constitutions.
Right.
And this appears to be one of them.
Okay.
Like, all right, I don't have to think about this section. So nothing problematic about it. Here's the thing. That version of the Constitution I just read you in New Hampshire, that was adopted in 1968. Why was it adopted? Why was it amended in 1968? Because the original version was from 1784, when they were established, I think, as a state. And around that time, that same section, the morality and piety section of the Constitution, said something very different. And they're like, oh, this is no longer defensible.
Really?
And I'll tell you what it is in a second, but they're like, wow, we can't defend this anymore. Why don't we just rewrite it so it matches up with what the U.S. Constitution says now, which is like saying, hey, no religious discrimination.
Yeah.
Of course, churches can elect their own leaders. Like, yeah, that's not controversial because we're all used to it now.
Can I take a swing at what this is? Is it going to be like, you can't... just tell me.
All right.
Sorry, my brain isn't working correctly today.
So, again, just to reiterate, the version of the Constitution that exists now, non-controversial.
And is it like a lot of places? Sorry, my brain blue screen for a second. Is it like a lot of those places where like buried really down deep is like you have to be religious to hold office?
They had some of those. That's not where we're going with this one. But yes, some old constitutions in a handful of states, which we've talked about before. There's like 7 states that have clauses that say if you want to hold elected office, you have to believe in a higher power.
Right.
And as we've discussed when we talk about those clauses, they exist in those state constitutions still today. But because U.S. law and the court rulings have all said you can't, they've superseded it, you can't enforce those rules. Okay, fine. None of them count.
Right.
But the thing is, you have to do a lot of work to remove them from the state constitutions.
And at one point, is that not worth our time and effort?
And also, like, you don't want to be the congressperson or legislator who's like, I want to revoke the thing that says you have to believe in God to be good.
And they have such a finite amount of time to work on their shit.
So that's the sort of thing they had in New Hampshire. And so they said in 1968, why don't we just fix this one?
Okay.
And they did. And that's what I just read you.
Okay.
Non-controversial. So here's the thing. The archaic version, it said things like, we can use public dollars to support Christian preachers. It said public school teachers could be elected.
What? Public school teachers could be elected?
Correct. Your local community can elect your public school teachers. It also said, of course, there's no religious discrimination for Christians. We're not. If you're a Methodist or a Protestant or a Presbyterian, you can't be discriminated against because of your Christian denomination. That's it, though.
Anybody
no
else,
one
though,
else exists under the law.
We're just going to close the door behind that.
Yeah, like I guess some of that made sense at a time when non-Christians were essentially non-existent.
Well, and also probably before like teacher certification felt important to them.
And before they had toilets. So like most of Article 6 did not age well. That's why they needed to correct it, which they did. And we now consider it illegal. Of course it's illegal to prop up Christianity over other religions or even religion over non-religion. And of course we don't elect teachers. We allow public school districts to do their own non-discriminatory hiring based on qualifications and need. And religious discrimination is wrong regardless of what you believe. And that is what Republicans now want to change. So a handful of New Hampshire Republicans have put forth a constitutional amendment known as CACR 28, and it would basically revert Article 6 back to the original wording.
Wow. And I'm sure this is after a long time of people, really taking advantage of that and attacking Christians?
So much. Christians are under attack. So
that they really have to revise this.
If this were to pass, here's what would change. It says morality is grounded on, quote, evangelical principles.
Oh, brother.
It would call for the public worship of God. It would require public instruction on morality, which means taxpayer-funded support of Christianity. It allows the legislature to force towns to support Christian preachers. It permits towns to elect teachers, taking that power away from local school districts and basically creating an environment where if you're a non-Christian educator, you may be blocked from the profession depending on where you live. Oh, we don't want this black Muslim teacher in our school district. Let's just vote them out.
I'm sure New Hampshire has a huge black population.
Huge. It only protects Christians under the law, not non-Christians. And it only protects Christians who are, quote, good subjects of the state and who carry themselves quietly. So no Christian protesters, no Christian agitators like we saw in Minneapolis.
Well, and also if, say, a prisoner is Christian, they can discount that. They're not the right Christian because they're also a bad person. So they don't get the protection.
So this version of Article 6, the original version, basically says Christianity is better than other religions and evangelicals are better than other Christians. Therefore, tax dollars can and must be used to prop up that faith and protect those believers. Like, it's so blatantly illegal. You have to wonder, why are you even thinking about doing this?
That was going to be my next question.
Right? And the legislation even says in the article that they just filed, there's a section that says, how are you going to present this question to the voters? Like, what's your rationale? Hey, voters, we need your support for a constitutional change. How are you presenting this to them? Here's what they write. This is almost funny to me because this is not, we're just Control Z going back to the original version. This is how they say, at the present time, towns, parishes, bodies corporate, and religious societies do not have a constitutional right to elect their own public teachers. And every denomination of Christian does not have additional religious protections under the Constitution beyond those granted to other religions.
Wow, he just said it out loud.
And then they add, if the amendment is
Christians
adopted,
don't get any special privileges, and I'm going to change the amendment.
And they say,
oh boy.
If the amendment is adopted, towns, parishes, bodies corporate, and religious societies shall have a constitutional right to elect their own public teachers, towns being the key word there, and every denomination of Christian shall be granted additional religious protections under the Constitution.
What does that mean? What does additional protection mean?
Who knows?
Like, what is...
But you could say, theoretically, let's say this were to
with
pass,
his name
if a
attached to this?
Christian said, I don't want black people to enter my store, my business that I own because of my religion, of course that wouldn't fly. That violates
that's
every
the Civil
law.
Rights Amendment.
But they might argue, theoretically, I'm making this up, they might argue, well, I'm a Christian and under New Hampshire's Constitution, I get special privileges. I don't know. I'm just saying they could do a lot of stupid shit. Now, one Democratic state representative, Peter Petrigno, he posted about this bill on Facebook, basically saying this is an effort to transform New Hampshire into an evangelical Christian theocracy, which is true. But he also said that I don't think this bill is going anywhere. Here's what he said. I doubt seriously this will have any traction, just as past Republican legislation calling for New Hampshire to secede from the country failed. Nonetheless, this kind of extremism is out there and very dangerous. Their ultimate objective is to have everyone fall in line with their narrowly focused religious perspective.
Yeah.
Now, today, as we are recording this, there is a hearing scheduled on this in the New Hampshire legislature.
Really?
And there are
I want to
so many
hear what
groups,
they have to say.
There are so many groups planning to speak out against this proposal. And I'm sure it'll be online on the New Hampshire's website. But I hope they make it clear, this is not about protecting religious freedom. It's a declaration that equality is not good enough for Christian Republicans in New Hampshire. They want preferential treatment.
It's very, all pigs are created equal, but some are more equal than others. Animals? I think it's animals.
I agree that I don't think this is going to succeed. It's disturbing that 4 Republicans were like, we have a good idea. And they think this is what the state needs.
Wow. I really, really, really want to hear the people justifying this. I want to hear
I know. How many people are going to speak up in support of this?
What could you possibly say in your defense?
Yeah.
That's not, I'm sorry, the Christians get no protection beyond the protection everybody else gets is so fucking funny. I kind of can't believe it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, jump into one more story here from Texas.
Tejas.
So last week, the State Board of Education, they expressed support for a plan to create a larger required reading curriculum for the entire state. Because right now, they don't have a set
Right
list.
now, the Bible isn't even in there.
Right now, they don't have a set list of every grade needs to read the following. And then teachers, you have leeway to add to that list as you want.
Is that a normal thing that states say every 8th grader has to read the Scarlet Letter or whatever?
Some states may have some basic things, but usually most states defer to local school districts and things like that.
And teachers who have degrees.
And teachers who know what they're doing, right. And not only did they approve a plan that said, here's a canon that everyone must have every grade level, but also we're going to throw the Bible in there at every grade. Yeah.
Is it like a read through thing? Like they just go through the books one year after the other?
No,
like first grade
specific.
is Genesis.
It's very
second
specific
grade is
about what
the
they
fuck
want
ever the
everyone
second book
to read.
is.
So like some of the items on their list make some sense. So for example, under their proposal, kindergarten teachers would read aloud books like The Cat in the Hat, various nursery rhymes. 6th graders would have to read The Miracle Worker about Helen Keller. S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders. That's for 6th grade. The high school curriculum includes The Great Gatsby, The Scarlet Letter, and some other stuff. But also, this is from a local reporting, also included are 3 Bible-infused readings drawn from the state's controversial Bluebonnet learning curriculum.
Is an extreme teen Bible?
Close.
An extreme teen Bible in every classroom?
Here's the thing. They make it sound innocuous.
No, they don't.
For kindergartners.
They absolutely do not.
You'll see. In kindergarten, they say kindergartners must be taught the golden rule. 1st graders have to learn the parable of the prodigal son. And 3rd graders have to learn the road to Damascus.
Hold the phone. Why is the prodigal son something that a second grader... First grader. Isn't that about like a son leaving then coming home?
Yeah, basically you left the faith and then you got to welcome him back in.
Oh, I see.
The golden rule, and then the readings, I'll come back to it in a second, but the readings get more specific. 7th graders have to read
What's the one about Damascus? What's the road to Damascus about?
Go look it up. 7th graders have to read the Shepherd's Psalm.
Podcast.
Shepherds have to read the Shepherd's Psalm, like I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left.
There you go.
Even my mama thinks
because
that
you're
my
white,
mind
I
is
gave
gone.
that one to you. I don't even know if that's the right one. They also have readings from the that's from the Old Testament. They also have the definition of love from 1 Corinthians.
Love is patient, love is kind.
High schoolers have to read about the Tower of Babel from Genesis 11.
Okay, what lesson am I supposed to learn from the Tower of Babel?
Lamentations 3 and the story of David and Goliath as told in 1 Samuel 17.
Hold the fucking phone. David and Goliath is in high school.
Yes.
And the road to Damascus is in 3rd grade.
Yes. Now, there's an argument to be made, and I will be the first to make it, that there are secular benefits to teaching kids about Christianity. There are certain Bible stories that I think any culturally literate person can know, should know. It's important to know. Like, I think if you're in high school and you don't know Adam and Eve, the story of Adam and Eve, you're going to miss out on so many references in books. Like, you should know about that.
I've talked about this a lot, but I was a lit major in college, and we read the Bible because you need to know Genesis because that shit comes up.
And the thing is, many of the passages in the proposal, like Lamentations 3 from the Old Testament, it's not just a one-off. It's tied to Elie Wiesel's Night. So those things are connected in the curriculum. David and Goliath is tied into a section on the Odyssey. So it's not out of nowhere.
Okay.
It's not out of nowhere. But what makes this proposal so damning is that Christianity is the only religious book included in the required readings. All the secular stories are infused with this religious messaging.
Right.
And that's on top of the Bluebonnet curriculum, which we have talked about before, which is already Bible heavy.
No good.
So look at the Golden Rule one. You might argue that's a pretty universal message. I'm not going to be bothered if kindergartners are taught to treat others the way they want to be treated or however you want to phrase the Golden Rule. I don't think it's a Jesus original. That one's been around for a while.
I don't either.
Even though
I think Be Nice to People does predate the Bible.
But if you look at the actual lesson that the Texas Board of Education has released, which is part of that Bluebonnet curriculum, how do they teach the Golden Rule? They do not just say, hey, kids, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Okay, but that's the whole thing.
That is the whole thing. Here's how they want you to teach it in kindergarten. They have like a 2 to 3 page write-up of the Golden Rule. And here's what it says. This is page 1. What is the Golden Rule? Several books of the Christian Bible describe a man who lived a long, long time ago,
what?
nearly 2,000 years ago, in a part of the world that is very far from here. The man was named Jesus. One of the books of the Bible describes Jesus giving a talk atop a small mountain. During this talk, he wanted to share some very important lessons, so he climbed the mountain and spoke to a group of people who were gathered to hear him. The talks Jesus gave were called sermons. Because Jesus shared this sermon up on a mountain, this talk is called the Sermon on the Mount. The Sermon on the Mount included many different lessons. Some of these included, do not judge others, do not seek revenge or try to get even with someone, and give to the needy. Beyond the Sermon on the Mount, there are many rules included throughout the Christian Bible. Jesus said that the Golden Rule sums up all of the important teachings from Scripture. So in everything, do unto others as you would have done unto you. ... That's how they want you to teach the Golden Rule to kindergartners.
So complicated. I'm sorry. And he did it on a small mountain. Like, why is that necessary?
Yeah.
At least say Sermon on the Mount so they can learn that that's a reference point people make. If you're like,
They did, but after they explained it. But that's the thing. If the whole goal is to teach kids, hey, treat others nicely because that's how you would want them to treat you, you could just say that. But they don't. They're using an innocuous lesson as a Trojan horse for proselytizing to children. And it's not until the very end of that lesson that the text even mentions that other religions, quote, including Hinduism and Islam, also follow some version of the Golden Rule. But the implication is, yeah, but seriously, it's from Christianity. They just took it from us, even though those religions are older than... The Houston Chronicle says there are 10 excerpts from the Old and New Testaments dispersed throughout the proposal. And while the law, thanks to the Supreme Court now, allows parents to remove their children from a religion they deem going against their religious beliefs, the way this program is structured, that actually might be really hard for parents to do.
Oh, sure, because if they fold it into every aspect.
Because the reading list would become part of Texas's English standards, which means standardized tests would use that material.
Oh, my Christ, they're going to use the Bible in SATs.
And say it's a secular passage. We just want you to interpret it. Which makes the readings kind of unavoidable. Because if you don't know how to interpret what you're reading, you're going to have a harder time on standardized tests.
I mean, I think it's also worth noting that if they are trying to more or less secularize the Bible, that also means that they are going to give up some of their special privileges of like the way we interpret the Bible is the correct way. Because if you are going to tell every Texan that they have to read it, then you can't be like, read
KJV edition. Got to read the old school version.
But like you can't have everybody read, like I can't make everybody read The Great Gatsby and then be like, Daisy was the actual hero of this. And if you guys read it, like, no, you have to put this piece of work out and let people interpret it the way you want to. So you're going to keep getting this guy from this Senate candidate from Texas the good one.
Oh, the good one,
Who
Talarico.
can also fucking quote the Bible and also pull passages that back up his point of view the way Republicans always accuse Democrats of doing, but also only do it themselves all the time, constantly cherry picking, constantly always. You can't both make everybody read this book and make them feel any kind of way about it. And honestly, do you know what makes a really strong atheist? Is somebody who is raised fucking religious. Because boy, oh boy, it's kind of hard to keep the veil on when it's so nakedly hypocritical.
They very much are not reading passages from the worst parts of the Bible. But in any case, at least one member of the board is making totally clear, hey guys, guess what we just did? Check this out. Brandon Hall is one of the board members on the State Board of Education. Guess what he wrote on Facebook just before the meeting when they adopted this proposal?
We did it. We're putting Jesus in every school. Don't tell the atheists.
So close. Today, the Texas State Board of Education will vote on a proposal to add Bible passages to a required reading list for K to 12 students across the state. This would bring the Word of God back into schools in a meaningful way for the first time in decades. We need prayer warriors to intercede for this vote. Like he said it out loud. By the way, the Word of God was not taken out of public schools, does not need to be brought back in, therefore, but okay.
What are they hearkening back to when they say that?
Oh, they just want to turn back the clock as much as they can.
Is there a time in the history of Texas where everybody read their Bibles in every public school?
They tried to, some of them.
So they're just kind of hallucinating this fake 1950s
listen, they don't know
era.
a lot about history.
Well,
now,
I mean,
here's the thing. If you read the proposal, one of the problems with it is they have so many books on the list of required reading. You literally, if you're an English teacher, and even if you wanted to go by this list, you can't get
fit
through
them all
any of
in.
this. Yeah, there's way too many. How many books do you think kids are going to read in a semester?
I think maybe I read
first grade.
2 or 3
Right.
in
And
like
they-
my advanced lit
And
class
they
in high
have
school.
dozens of books per grade. So they will have to revise this list. And especially if they want students to learn anything beyond the required reading, which teachers are going to push for. Like, I get having a standard, but the standard's supposed to be the bare minimum, and then we're allowed to go beyond that. And taking that away from them because they got to get through all the required stuff, that's going to piss off every educator.
Well, also this feels...
The list also got criticized because, wow, you got a lot of white dudes
guys.
here. Yep, of course. There is one alternative proposal on the table that removes the Bible texts, but does allow for readings that explain the story of Noah's Ark and Adam and Eve for cultural literacy requirements, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that is not what these Republicans want. They don't care about cultural literacy. They want indoctrination.
Yeah, but I mean, is the story of Noah's Ark any more like culturally
Yes.
relevant
I
than,
will argue yes.
than Friends? Maybe
Yes.
all these kids should watch Friends for emotional
They
literacy.
should.
And then some of you will finally get my Tulsa's the Paris of Oklahoma joke that none of you have gotten in the last 5 years.
There you go.
I'm not mad. I'm just
so they're going to fight
disappointed.
over this. The vote has been postponed to like April right now. That's what they decided to do.
And what is it looking like? Are they projecting it's going to pass?
Oh, of course it'll pass. The question is, they will have to revise this list because it's too long. What is going to be cut? And the question is the Bible stuff going to be included in the stuff they're going to get rid of? Because they do got to get rid of a lot of stuff. And the answer is, I mean, maybe probably not, because it's Texas.
It's kind of wild that we all grew up reading a book about a woman who was knocked up and shamed by her entire community. And apparently the Republicans read the Scarlet Letter and were like, yeah, they got it right. That fucking Hester Prynne, that bitch. Like, we should have been meaner to her. Like, it's just so, golly. It's truly the same as when people have like Great Gatsby parties. And I'm like, did you read the
miss the
book?
point? Yeah.
Did you read the book? Do you remember the green lights? Because I don't think happiness was at those parties, bud. I think it was at the bottom of a pool.
I
Spoilers
got one more
for Great
story
Gatsby.
for you here, which
More?
is an update on a
Okay.
story. So we first talked about this a couple of weeks ago in Tennessee because in late November, there was a nonprofit Wilberforce Academy of Knoxville in Tennessee, basically a private Christian school. And they said, we want to launch a charter school, which is also independently run, but like you get taxpayer money to do it. We want to launch a charter school for kids in kindergarten through 8th grade, set to open in the fall of 2027, so a year from now. And their goal, very clearly on their website, is not to educate kids. They want to indoctrinate kids. Right. They actually say on their website, Christianity lies at the center of Wilberforce's mission. They add that their charter
Which they're allowed to.
They are allowed to as a private school.
It's just
They add
wild.
that the charter affirms the truth of the Apostles' Creed and the inerrancy and infallibility of the Holy Bible, and that a purely secular education is necessarily an inferior one.
Even my mama thinks that my mind is gone.
There
That's
you
what I was
go.
thinking
Well
about
done.
while you were doing
well
that.
done. So it's very much a private Christian school,
Yeah.
but they say we want it to be a charter school, not unlike what they did in Oklahoma, where they tried to get a private.
Oak.
There you go. They tried to get a Catholic charter school started there. And that's the thing. Like, that's why you can't have it.
Yeah.
You don't get a
You can't do
publicly
both things.
funded Christian school. Taxpayer dollars cannot be used to fund your religion.
Christians hate being told they can't do whatever they want.
When we talked about this a couple of months ago, one of the things that was interesting is one of the dudes behind this school who's signing the letter, trying to get the Knox County Board of Education to approve it, is a dude who worked on the Catholic school in Oklahoma. It's the same type of people.
Do you think he learned any lessons, or do you think he's going to try to do the same thing in a different state?
I think they're just looking, let's go to red state to red state
Sure.
and see what we can do.
Sure.
And that's the issue. So the Knox County School Board basically said, yeah, we're not doing this. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. They said we can't even apply because Knox County says we can't do this.
Right.
So they like preemptively were suing. They're like, Knox County needs to approve it.
Because Knox County was like, hey, gang, let's not waste time and resources on a thing that is illegal and won't happen. And they're like, ooh, what if we do and then bring more shit in and sue you?
Yeah.
I'm sure the educational system of Tennessee is thriving. I'm gonna look up their
So
stats.
their lawsuit argued there's nothing wrong with using tax dollars for religious schools. In fact, the lawyer said Tennessee has a voucher program that allows taxpayer dollars to be spent at private schools, including private religious schools. But it's a bad comparison because the law regarding charter schools are much more clear-cut and they don't involve private schools at all. And that's why you don't open that door, because then every private Christian school in the country would be like, we're a charter school now. We're just going to operate that way, steal some taxpayer dollars instead of charging tuition, and more people will come to us. And that's kind of what they want to have happen everywhere in the country.
Have you ever heard of the Kids Count data book? Is that
No
a
idea what you're
reliable
talking
source?
about.
No, I'm just looking at educational rankings because they say they're 14th, which is pretty good. But like U.S. News and World Report says they're 31st in the country on education. So I'm
Sounds
just
more like it.
wondering if
So
that
here's
was
the thing. That lawsuit is ongoing.
Sycamore Institute, does that mean anything to me?
Nope.
To you? Oh, okay.
So Knox County is basically saying, listen, we don't want to get involved in the merits of this case. We just want to, like, we have to fight this in court now because they're suing us. But they have basically told the court, we'll just do whatever the state tells us. The Constitution says one thing, but like, why don't we just send a letter to the Attorney General? Like, do we have to say yes to these people or do we have to say no to these people?
Oh, that
and we'll just
feels reasonable.
We'll just do whatever the Attorney General tells us. So like, stop suing us. We're just doing our job. That's basically the Knox County Board of Education's position on this.
Okay.
They're saying we don't want to argue with you about whether a charter school should be allowed to have access.
This isn't our call to make.
It's not our call to
above our
make.
pay grade.
So that's what their argument to the court is. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because of that, because that is what they've argued in court. Like, take us off this thing. We don't want to fight this. Just, we'll ask the state. And if you don't like what the state tells us, then take it up with them.
Right.
But because of that, a coalition of church-state separation groups this week, they have filed a motion, last week I should say, in federal court saying, hey, we are not a party to this. We have nothing to do with this, but we want dibs on this lawsuit, even though we're not a part of it.
Sure.
Because we have to be involved. Because Knox County says they're not going to take an official position on taxpayer funding of religious charter schools. We want to make that argument to you on the merits. We want to go to court with our lawyers and say, you cannot allow this because the constitutionality of the law at issue is not going to get the examination it deserves. So, like the lawyers for the Knox County School Board, they're not going to make this argument to you on the merits. So let us step in with our lawyers and do that work for them, even though they are not hiring us. So we're just saying, can we intervene in this case, which is a legal thing you could do? And this is what they say. We intend to offer a full defense of the constitutionality of Tennessee's prohibitions against state funding and operating of charter schools that teach a religious curriculum. They're not going to do it. Let us do it. Who's the us? Freedom from Religion Foundation,
Sure.
the Education Law Center, the Americans United for Separation of Church and State, the ACLU of Tennessee, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and a private law firm that's working on all of their behalf.
Wow.
And in a press release, here's what one of the interveners, who technically is a parent of a Knox County public school student, saying, I would like to get in on this because it's going to affect me personally and working on my behalf for all of these law firms and groups. But here's what one parent said, Amanda Collins. Public education is part of the common good. A religious charter school would be at odds with the need to ensure public schools remain appropriate for and welcoming to students of all faiths, families, and backgrounds. And it would divert already limited public funds and scarce resources away from other public schools in Knox County. We can't let that happen. So,
great.
They announced that about a week ago, and I'm like, that doesn't sound controversial to me. No. That seems like a pretty standard thing to do in court. And I was like hoping a judge should just say, yeah, you guys can intervene here. You have a reason to intervene. You have clients who are willing to participate in this case, and it makes sense. And I think like yesterday, they just announced really quickly, hey, a judge approved us intervening in this case.
Okay.
So judge doesn't say you're right.
Yeah.
Judge just said, yeah, you make a good point. I will allow you to argue your side on the merits of this case because you are going to be affected by the results either way. So that's the good news. Okay. That means they're going to drag this out in court a little bit. We don't know what will happen to Wilberforce, but I am happy to see these church-state groups working together to say this issue matters. Let's jump in on this and fight it. They won in Oklahoma when they tried to do it, even though in Oklahoma when they tried to get involved, the Attorney General, Gentner Drummond, he's like, I'm filing my own lawsuit against this charter school. I'm going to handle this one. And
the governor?
The Attorney General of the state. He's like, I'm going to handle this one.
Really?
And when the Oklahoma Supreme Court said no to their religious charter school, it was not the church-state separation group's lawsuit that did it. They were responding to the Attorney General's lawsuit.
So even the Attorney General doesn't want this?
So even right now, Tennessee's Republican hardcore MAGA Attorney General, he's not fighting to get involved in this to say no.
Interesting.
So
I
that's
wonder
why these groups are. I remember the Attorney General in Oklahoma, who's running for governor now. He was pretty good about church-state separation, though when we talked about allowing a mosque to set up shop in a city there, he's like spouting Islamophobic talking points. So anyway, I'm glad to see that happen. There's your good news to end on all this.
Oh, and it's nice to see that, like, even a Tennessee Republican, they're not a monolith. They're not a hive mind. They actually have some kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's stop there for now.
Wow.
You can support us by going to patreon.com/friendlyatheistpodcast. You can send mail to friendlyatheistpodcast@gmail.com. Get your merch at friendlyatheistpodcast.com and leave reviews on all the podcast apps. By the way, if you're watching this on video right now, as some of you have pointed out, it looks better. The quality is better. The videos are there when we talk about the videos.
Yeah, that was very hard.
That is all Jess.
Yeah.
And do we have any new reviews?
We sure do. They just changed the Apple podcast app, so I can't fucking find anything.
Make one up. Make one up.
No, I found it. Right. That's why you were vamping for so long. Okay, this is weekly favorite from AJR586. This podcast is one of my favorites. I always place it at the front of my queue as soon as a new episode drops. Oh, I do that with my Bim Bam. Him and Jessica have such a funny rapport, and it's always a delight when something sets Jessica off in uncontrollable laughter. My wife and I also enjoy listening to the bonus episodes together. Happy 40th birthday, Sarah. I hope Jessica read that on air without having pre-read the comment. 5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah, you got me, bud. You absolutely got me.
Well done.
Bonus thank you so much. Oh, I've got a lot of shit to talk about in the bonus episode.
Really quick, run through them.
Barbarella. I saw that for the first time. Jesus Christ, what an outstanding movie. I can't wait to talk about it with you. I'm finally going to talk about... Somebody called me out that I mentioned somebody who I'm going to interview soon, but I forgot to mention him, so I'll do that in the bonus episode. A Greek mythology trivia question that I fucking nailed and bragged about. I want to talk about the late, great Catherine O'Hara and her impact on me. St. Dennis Medical, great show. That's it.
All right.
I probably won't get to all of those, but...
We'll get to like one of them.
Great,
We'll
can't
see
wait.
you in the bonus. Bye.
See you next week.